We also picked up cases of the use of the justice system to persecute political activists. And in this regard, we spotlight cases such as Fadzaima Harris' case, where she was convicted for publishing falsehoods, despite the fact that it was very clear that that particular offense is no longer part of the criminal system in Zimbabwe.
Good day and welcome to JCTV Africa. My name is Marvelous Lamini and thank you so much for joining us. This is our daily roundup where we give you the trending stories from the Sunshine City and just across the country. And to help me do that is my colleague
Kenan Rusike.
How are you doing this afternoon?
I am well here. It's the weather is loving me. I know you don't like winter, but
yeah, winter is almost here, but it's fine. I understand, right? I'll adjust. Yeah, I'll adjust. I adjust to such weather conditions. But anyways, so as we do this roundup, I know you've been doing a lot of digging and you still have information to give us about the 70-year-old and the 23-year-old with us, which we are still trying to follow and really understand what's going on, if our science is messing with us or what. But you also, do a follow-up on this story. But for today, our daily roundup, Amnesty International today, they actually launched a report where they were highlighting different human rights abuses in the country. And they actually said a lot of things and they highlighted a lot of cases like Fadzaima, Job Scala cases. And, what's your take on that?
Yeah, very noble cause that they're doing, in order to highlight these things. We need many voices that are, speaking about what the judiciary and what we have seen, especially what seemingly to be targeting voices of dissent and hegemonical tendencies in our government. And that needs to be called out. However, I'm a bit concerned about the powers that these institutions have, that they do not have the powers to bite. And this, not just referring to Amnesty International, but so many human rights watchdogs, as much as these institutions are there, but they are not really enforcing these laws. Of course, they do engagements, which we applaud them for that, but I would want to see more action being taken, or some people being taken to court, like what happened in South Africa when South Africa took Israel to the International Criminal Court. That personally, I would want to see them, taking those stances, and maybe that would deter some of the actions that we see governments taking, even the likes of America and even the likes of Israel, the way that they are treating people in Palestine and Gaza. It is very, very deplorable. But credit to them for speaking out and pointing out these irregularities when the application of the law seem to be tilted against opposition.
Yeah, and from today's discussions or the press conference that was held today, Amnesty International did highlight that they have tried to actually involve these government bodies in terms of trying to put an end to human rights abuses. And maybe we can just take a look of what they said about it today.
In terms of our findings, we observed that there was repression of dissent in Zimbabwe in 2023, particularly during the election period. We picked up the issues relating to the severe curtailment of freedom of association, assembly, and expression. We took note of some of the cases that emerged within the context, cases such as the arrest of the 6 students from University of Zimbabwe for protesting the prolonged incarceration of political activists such as Job Sikala and Jacob Ngarivume. These students were denied bail, spent some weeks in pre-trial detention, but they were subsequently released. As we speak right now, the charges that were being preferred against them were subsequently withdrawn. So we have put these reports in the public domain. We have made calls through press releases, calling upon the government to address some of these issues.
That was Lucia Masuka, the Executive Director of Amnesty International in Zimbabwe, giving us some of the things that they've highlighted in this report and what they've been doing in the past year, 2023. So it was really interesting. Even the report which is out there. If you want it, we can actually share it with you.
And now moving on to another story. I know we're talking about Amnesty International, but now we want to talk about presidential amnesty. You
Yes.
know that last week, is it before independence or a little after independence, there were prisoners, female prisoners that were released, and a lot of people were happy about it, and had a lot of comments to say. But then now it has been amended that sex offenders actually from now on they cannot be granted amnesty. And I'm thinking that it's emanating from the previous outcry that was held by the public to say sex offenders most of the times they're likely to go out and commit the same crimes. So maybe that's why the amendment came in now. I don't know what you think about that.
Yes. Definitely, we saw an outcry after that man who said E.D. Uchi, and then it was later realized that there was a minor that was involved in a rape issue. But credit to the president for listening, because definitely, as much as probably they might not have spoken about it, but they have acted in a bid to protect those sex offenders from getting out, scot-free after committing some of these crimes that leave a psychological dent on someone's life growing up, because you know how it is, especially for children who would have been taken advantage by these people. So yeah, credit to them for that, for doing that.
Yeah, I think that's a great development there, because I can only imagine what someone would go through to say, probably I was sexually assaulted, and then the next day someone is being released, before
Yes.
they have served maybe the 20 years, 10 years that they've been given in prison. Also at the same time, it affects me mentally, and then there's a lot that I would think, and I'll now be in fear to say, what if they come back and do the same thing since now they're out? So I think that's a great development there as well. And now moving on to our last story. I know in the previous weeks we've been reporting on the story of my Titi and your daughter Fifi, as well as the ex that is said to have leaked Fifi's pictures on social media platforms. So now it has been established that Amir Maka and his lawyer, they've actually now appealed to the court to say there should be more investigations that are done, considering the fact that my Titi also accused Patricia Jacks of the same crime, while this case is still in court. And now we are no longer certain as to what actually happened with these pictures. Did the guy really leak the pictures? Because it's said now that Amir has submitted his phone to the police for them to do the investigation, and now it's asking that Fifi should also do the same, where they actually investigate to say who else did she send these pictures to. And there's also been some allegations that Fifi might have an OnlyFans account where she posts these pictures, and they might have been extracted from there. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, it's a becoming a complex issue, in the sense that it might have been ill-advised, probably by a legal team, or maybe by simple ignorance, that a matter that is before the courts, which is sub judice, she didn't need to then try to level allegations against her nemesis, no matter how much she hates her. But she should have waited until the courts finds a determination, or help the investigators in pointing out to the so-called perpetrators, or the ones that distributed the images. However, there is also another school of thought that has been brought, which is that herself recording herself and then distributing these images is also under the Cyber Protection Act of distributing nude pictures. It is actually an offense, and that is also something that might catch up with Fifi in this matter. So I really think that the case is now taking a twist and turn, maybe because of ignorance and being ill-advised, or maybe emotions getting the better of my Titi in this case. But otherwise, we're going to see how it pans out. And a lot of people are saying that this young man might end up being freed after all. But who knows what is going to happen in the near future.
Yeah.
But this is very, very, very disturbing for me, to say the least. And what a turn of events that we didn't expect.
Yeah, indeed, and we'll keep monitoring and see, the developments in that story. But that was our daily roundup. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Marvelous Lamini,
And I am Kenan Rusike, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Join us again tomorrow.